Dear sisters, let us get closer to Allah. Dear sisters, let us learn of Rasulullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear sisters, welcome back to your program, Dear Sisters. We have a lot of questions that we're receiving on Facebook, and we'd love to take some of your questions on the phone also. So feel free, inshallah, to give us a call at 002-0238-555-248 or 249. Also, Skype is Huda_TV. Give us a call, inshallah. I'll be waiting for you. All right, Sister Nihad, she says, can I live with the family of my husband who are not a Muslim family?
The question is also very general. If we just go by the words of the question, it's okay, it's permissible. But what happens if you live with them? Would that involve any sins? Would that involve anything that you have to compromise? If the answer is yes, then it's not permissible. So just to live with them, it's okay. But as long as there's no compromisation of anything in matters of the deen.
Jazakallah khair. Now I want to say a quick message to Sister Sophia, if she's watching us right now. She told me, Assalamu alaikum brother, please forward my question too. I'm still waiting for the Sheikh's reply. We took all the questions except mine. That's what she said. Well, we did answer your questions, sister, in the last segment. And I'm sure that you heard the answers. The reason that I didn't take them in order as they came on Facebook is because some questions are related to each other. So we ask those kind of like in a bundle, and then we come back to questions with different avenues and ideas. So Jazakallah khairan for asking the questions and also for this note. All right, Sister Abida, she says, Does a husband have more right over his wife than her parents after marriage? What if her parents are old?
Now, this is usually a question that comes up in many cases. But first, the person in the woman's life that has the most rights on her when she is married is her husband.
Well, some people may say this doesn't make sense. You know, I became, for example, someone would say, I became a mother and I raised my daughter, you know, all her life. And, you know, I'm the one who's been living with her for 25 or 26 years. And all of a sudden, you know, the next day after she gets married to this one guy who's barely has known her for like a month, and now he has rights over her and I don't.
Right. It has to do with two things. First, it doesn't mean that he has the rights on her more than her mother. That means it's either or. Of course, this is not the case. And for him to be a righteous man and a good man, he would never ever undermine the rights of her mother, and for her to be kind to them, especially if they're old and so on. But the issue is here for the betterment of the families and what comes after that, and that's the children, and for the mother to seek reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She did her job, and now it's the second generation to be raised, and for all these different benefits, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most wise. But again, this is when it comes to rights, meaning if two orders comes against one another. The parents are asking her to do one thing, and the husband is asking her to do something else, so it's undermine the rights of the husband. Definitely the husband is to be, you know, his right comes before the rights of the parents, but without making the parents angry and upset. So it's, you know, it's only in the situations where the husband is not really seeing the benefits or the rights of the parents, which is something very important. And he should never ever prevent his wife from taking care of her family and her father and mother and so on. But we have to be moderate and not to be extreme in one way or the other, and not undermining the rights of the husband and the children and the family.
At the end of the day, if you have to make a choice, you choose to obey the husband rather than obey the parents after marriage.
Right, and as long as all of this is in the ma'ruf, in what is good, not to cause harm or anything of that nature.
Barakallahu feek. Jazakallah khairan. Sister Fatima from Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello?
Yes, sister. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Go ahead with your question, inshallah.
Yeah, Fatima?
Yep, go ahead. We can hear you, inshallah.
I just want to ask, I'm getting married, inshallah.
MashaAllah, congratulations.
So, thank you.
Oh.
So, my father separated from my mother. I mean, like 25 years ago. So now, if I want to do my nikah, who will be responsible for my nikah?
Okay, your father is still alive?
Yeah, I think he is, because I don't know any information about him.
Okay. Okay, barakallahu feek, jazakallahu khairan, we'll answer you inshallah. We also have Sister Fatima from Kenya. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Fatima, you're on. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Yes, Sister Fatima, go ahead.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Okay, my question is this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was diagnosed with fibroids. And then I went to see a doctor, but unfortunately there were none female doctors.
Okay, Sister Fatima, it looks like I'm having a hard time hearing you because of
So
the
is
internet
it okay
connection.
for a Muslim young
So
lady
if I can
to
ask the brother,
doctor?
please, in the control room, inshallah, to take your question down written, and he'll tell me the question in the earpiece, and then inshallah we'll answer it. Jazakallah khair, Sister Fatima. All right, so we have a question from Sister Fatima from Saudi Arabia. She's about to get married, inshallah, alhamdulillah, and her father and mother have separated about 25 years ago. She doesn't have any information about her father other than he may be alive. Who would be her guardian in this case?
In that case, of course, the father is the guardian, and if he's not where to be found, then the guardianship goes to the one after him, which is, for example, if the grandfather is alive, then he's the guardian. If not, then it's the uncle.
When we say the grandfather, are we talking
of
about of the father's
yes,
side?
of the father's side. If not, then it's the father's brother, if there's any of her uncles are alive. If not, then her brother, for example, if he's old enough. If none, say for example, she has no male relatives whatsoever.
No relatives from the father's side.
Right. That would never stop the marriage. In that case, is the Muslim judge is basically the guardian or someone that is elder among the community. But if she's living in a Muslim country, then it's the judge.
She's living in Saudi Arabia, so who would it be in that
Then
case?
she would go to the system, she would go to the judge, and she would explain her situation, and the marriage will be performed by the power of the judge. Then he will be the guardian. Basically act on behalf of the ruler. The ruler basically of the Muslim becomes the guardian for those who do not have any guardians, or the ones that act on behalf of the ruler, which is in that case will be the judge.
How about a guardian from a mahram, for example, from her mother's side? For example, her uncle, or her grandfather from the mother's side. Would that person be allowed to be
if none is present from her father's side, then but usually in a Muslim country the judge will be the one and would act on behalf of the wali, or he can appoint, for example, the uncle or whatever.
Jazakallah khairan. Brothers, inshallah, in the control room, if you can get me the question from Sister Fatima from Kenya, inshallah, we'll try to answer it on the program, inshallah. Brother Ahsan is back. Hopefully he's not going to say we're right back. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Ahsan is back. Hopefully he's not going to say we're right back. Brother Ahsan, assalamu alaikum.
Talk to Ahsan, talk. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Someone is telling you to talk.
I have two questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone is trying to talk.
Go ahead, brother. Brother Ahsan? I hope you didn't take a break again, like last time. Brother Ahsan, assalamu alaikum. Alright, jazakallah khairan, Brother Ahsan. Okay, we have a question about fasting on Fridays. Would it be allowed to single out Friday for fasting?
There's a hadith in Sahih Imam Bukhari where the Prophet ﷺ entered on one of his wives on Friday, and she was fasting. And the Prophet ﷺ asked her, did you fast a day before it or a day after it? So singling out Friday is not permissible. So it's okay to fast Friday, but as long as Thursday is being fasted or Saturday. So 2 days in a row, so that it's not singled out.
Someone may ask, sometimes you get this himma, this, this great feeling that I want to do something good. So it just comes at that moment. Let's just say it happens to be like on a Thursday evening, and that you decided to fast on Friday.
Inshallah, don't stop yourself.
Don't stop.
Fast, but fast the day after.
Inshallah. And if you're not able to, fast the Saturday, then inshallah be okay.
If you know that from Thursday night, and that's why, for example, if you feel like fasting, fast, and then if it happened on Saturday that you couldn't fast, there's no harm in this case. But if a person intentionally, just singling out Friday, it's not.
You also told us a hadith a couple episodes ago that you shouldn't single out Saturday as well. Is that true?
Right. Friday and Saturday should not be singled out.
So you should not fast Friday alone or
Right.
Saturday alone
No.
as well. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. All right, so a lot of sisters are wondering about the idea of dealing with their children when it comes for them when they become a little bit older, when they turn into the teen years, okay, what we call teenagers. They face some sort of difficulty because they've been treating them one way their whole life, and now they feel that way is not working anymore. You know, if I keep ordering them or if I keep telling them mommy's going to be mad at you, it's like whatever. You know, they don't care anymore. How should they deal with that?
It's a good sign that they have their own personalities, and this is basically what the age is. They're now into the verge, or they are responsible for their actions, and if they die in that state, they would either enter Jannah or the hellfire. So that means they're responsible, and that's why it's parents should recognize that, and because of that, they should raise the children before that and teach them what is right and what is wrong, so that once they reach that age, which is the dangerous age, they at least know what is right and what is wrong. And then the job of the parents is to advise, is to direct, is to make dua, a lot of dua, and to basically make them close to them.
Jazakallah khair. And Sister Maha from Lebanon is back with us. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Go ahead, sister, with your question.
Can I please get the Sheikh to explain the difference between nafs and kareen in the Quran? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the nafs that encourage, one of the son of Adam to kill the other brother. So, and also there's a kareen that in the other chapter, I can't remember where. I don't quite understand about that. So could you please get the Sheikh to explain that?
Okay, just hold on 1 second. Did you get the question?
I got the nafs, but what's the other one?
Yeah, the nafs, we got that part. What's the second one? Compare it to what?
The kareen.
Qareen.
Okay. Barakallah feek. Jazakallah khairan. We'll answer you inshallah. Let me also, before we answer her question, let me answer Sister Fatma's question from Kenya. We're able, Jazakumullah khairan, in the control room, we're able to get the question. She's asking about the permissibility of seeing a male doctor, who specializes in women's issues, gynecologist, if there are no females available in her locality.
No. As the ulama, they say, first, a woman, she protects herself, she protects her private parts from being seen by, other than her husband and so on. So if it's needed, right, something that is needed for her condition, then she first looks for a Muslim woman doctor. If not, then a non-Muslim woman doctor. If not, then it's a Muslim man doctor that fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and righteous and so on. If not, then the last resort is to go to a non-Muslim man. So with all these conditions, like in the same order like this, and if she has to go to a man, right, it is not permissible for him to see more than what is needed. So, and she has to have a mahram with her, present with her in the room and not alone, being alone with him. So with all these types of precautions, then that's okay.
Sister Maha, she's asking about two different things, and she wants to know what the difference between them are. One is the nafs.
It's a very good question.
It's a very good question. A lot of people don't know the difference. What is the difference between the nafs and the qareen?
Right, especially when she referred to some verses in the Quran, which shows the importance of pondering over the verses of the Quran. The first case, when it refers to the verses in Surah Al-Ma'idah, فَطَوَّعَتْ لَهُ نَفْسُهُ قَتْلَ أَخِيهِ فَقَتَلَهُ فَكَانَ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. The two sons of Adam, that one killed the other, so his nafs pulled him or encouraged him to kill his brother. And the qareen is someone different than the human being in himself. It's something else. So the nafs is your being, your own being, right? And that is basically you as a person. You would have either goodness in you or some evil in you. The shaitan or the qareen is the one that whispers to you. It's not you, but he whispers only. And the difference between both is that when the shaitan or the qareen whispers to the person to do what is evil, if a person do it, it's a sin and so on. But if he would continuously do a certain sin, then it becomes part of yourself, a disease in your heart, right, that you need to cure yourself from. The shaitan, for example, if he makes a person, whispers to a person to look, for example, in a certain, that is something that is haram, he doesn't really care which sin that you commit. But the things that has to do with our own being is the persistently committed sins. And we are responsible for our actions, whether it's a whisper from the shaitan or the qareen, or whether it's not. Whether it's part of us that we get used to this evil or not, it's still we are responsible for our actions. So this is basically the difference, and they are very related, because we do things based on the whispers of the shayateen, and also based on the diseases that we present in our hearts, whether it's desires or doubts or things of that nature. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, for some people, I think you made it clear. For some people, this issue is not clear, especially the issue when you said, how can you determine if the sin is from the shaitan or from my own nafs? So, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Sisters, we have about 10 minutes left in the program, so inshallah, feel free to give us a call at 002-0238-555, 248 or 249, and also through Skype, Huda_TV, inshallah. All right, so we have a question from Sister Khushnud, and she says, I have a question regarding breaking kinship. She says one of her sisters is married to a non-Muslim, but that sister says that he embraced Islam and that he's practicing. The first sister says, I don't know if he's really practicing, he doesn't seem to be practicing, okay? The question is, should she break kinship with her? And what does kinship mean? And if she also says, if our maternal and paternal sister and brother do not respect our parents, what is the ruling on breaking the relationship with them? So I'm guessing we have two questions here. The first question is regarding a sister who the other sister assumes that her husband is not a practicing Muslim. She also even thinks he may not even be Muslim at all. But the sister who's married to that brother, she says he is, and she says he is practicing. From the outward, he doesn't appear to be, according to the sister who's asking the question. What should the relationship be in terms of kinship? And then we'll go to the second question.
Sulat al-Arham, or to be kind to the kin and kith, this is an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless whether the people are religious or not, whether they are Muslims or not. So even if your relative is a non-Muslim, they still have rights on you to be kind to them and for their relationship to be connected, unless that harm comes from their end. Then in that case, you need to stop the harm and to do your best that you would still connect the relationship without having to deal with any harm, especially when it comes to your religion. But if it's physical harm, that you call them and they hang up with the phone on you, you go visit them, they tell you don't come here anymore, you still need to continue the relationship from your end. But if they sever it from their end, not from your end. If at certain times you're trying to do something for the religion benefit of the other side, so if, for example, if you stop talking to them for a certain period of time, that would make them, for example, repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then it's a good thing. You're not severing the relationship, you're just trying to be nice to them, and you tried and it didn't work. Then you're stopping the relationship for a period of time. Maybe that would make them, because they love you so much, they respect you so much, it would make them rethink what they're doing. But it's not an ongoing situation like this, unless the matter of the deen is concerned. So in that case, of course, she should have the good expectations. If she says that her husband is practicing and so on, she should be kind to her sister, because that's what her concern is. Advise her if you think that she needs advice. If there's something to do with her undermining the religion herself, meaning the sister, then you should have that clarity in your relationship with her, that this is something that you free yourself from. You don't agree to it, but you still have to have this type of relationship. Same thing with the other type.
Yeah, we'll talk about the other type specifically, but after we take this call from Brother Ibrahim from the UAE. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Ibrahim, assalamu alaikum. Yep, go ahead.
Alaikum assalam, Shaykh.
Go ahead, brother.
I have one question. Am I allowed to give my friend who's Christian money?
Are you allowed to give who?
My friend who's Christian money.
Are you talking about lending him money or helping him out when he's in a difficulty, or what are you talking about?
Helping him out when he's in a difficulty.
Okay, all right. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. Beautiful question. Can he help a non-Muslim friend?
Helping non-Muslims with money, lending them money, helping them if they're in need of help, that's definitely a good thing, and it's a rewardable thing. And it's a good thing even in matters of da'wah. But the issue of a friend, you have to be careful not to fall into be affected by anyone that you deal with. and one of which, if they're non-Muslims, then they might have a bad effect on you. You have to be careful not to be intimately close to them with your secrets, and you're hanging out with them, and you go out with them, because they won't remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They won't remind you when it's time for the salah to go for the salah. It can be the opposite. They can be a mean for you to commit sins, right? So it's the closeness of the relationship that's something that a person has to be warned of. But as far as someone in his class or in the school or whatever, or a co-worker, or even that you don't know whatsoever, it's a good thing to help others, and to, whether it's lending them money or being there for them, it's a good thing, mashallah.
Jazakallah khair. Sister Samina says, can we do istikhara for Umrah? She says her and her in-laws want to go to Umrah, and she usually does istikhara every day for things that she does.
Istikhara usually for the things that are permissible. But if it's something recommended, something that you know that it's virtuous, definitely there is no need for you to make istikhara, unless it's either Umrah or something else and they're both recommended, and after asking the people of knowledge, and because sometimes one thing is better than the other. But if it's either or, it might undermine some things, then it's okay to make istikhara. So it's fine to make istikhara anyway, but you should go for Umrah. If you have the intentions to go for Umrah, go for Umrah. It's a good deed. You won't wait for some feelings from istikhara. For example, no, I don't feel like going, maybe this is the effect of istikhara. There's no such a thing. You're going for Umrah, you take the means to go for Umrah, make your istikhara, it's fine, and keep going with the means to go for Umrah.
If someone is not very rich, okay, should they go for Umrah and then later worry about saving for Hajj? Or should they avoid going to Umrah in hopes of, let me save up, keep on saving, for like 10 years or so, so that I can go to Hajj?
No, wallah, if the means are ready and they can go for Umrah and it become easy for the person to make Umrah, the person should not stop himself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would provide. And if they don't have the means afterwards to go for Hajj, it is not obligatory on them. But sometimes they save and, they end up not going for Umrah or Hajj. So it's whatever is made easy, a person should do, and there's no problem in that, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan. Alright, we have one final question right here from Sister Gunsha. She says, Assalamu alaikum, I want to know the rights of the second wife over the husband, as his husband's first wife doesn't allow him to go to his second wife, and her husband doesn't treat her children equally as the first wife. Please explain this per hadith and Quran reference. Jazakumullah khair.
No. The wife, she has rights on the husband, and it doesn't matter if it's the first or the second or the third or the fourth. They're all equal when it comes to the rights. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He said, وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, live with them with goodness. It's not just to one wife, it's whatever wives the husband is married to. They're all equally when it comes to this. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the authentic hadith that if a man is not equally treating wife refers to the other wife, he will come on the day of judgment. That means one of his sides is bent or higher than the other. That means he comes with a deformed figure in the day of judgment. That means he committed a sin because he was not fair with them. So whether the first wife let him or not let him, this is actually a funny statement, because the man is the one in charge and he's supposed to, his responsibility, he will be asked in the day of judgment. And the first wife, she should realize this, that the other one, she has a rights on him, and they're equally rights. It's not because of the second wife that means the first wife have more rights to him. No, they're equally when it comes to the rights from the husband.
Jazakallah khairan. Sister Samina, who answered her question about istikhara, says Jazakallah khairan. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And I want to say Jazakallah khairan to you. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite us again, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. My dear sisters in Islam, thank you so much for being with us here this afternoon. We hope this last hour was of benefit. Again, like always, we talk about a lot of subjects. Hopefully, the main message is that we come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to His deen. Jazakumullah khairan. We'll see you again soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Dear sisters, let us get closer to Allah. Dear sisters, let us learn of Rasulullah. Dear sisters, let's make the future bright. Dear sisters, mothers, daughters and wives. Dear sisters, let us get closer to Allah. Dear sisters, let us learn of Rasulullah.